An 8-bit Rocket Studios production.
Into the vertical blank.
Hi, this is 8-Bit Jeff here. Welcome to Arkanoid, Atari ST. Into the Vertical Blank presents When It Mattered to Us, Atari ST Arkanoid. When It Mattered to Us, Atari ST Arkanoid. This game was released in 1988 by Taito in the USA. The programmer, graphics, and sound all done by Peter Johnson. Reviews. Atari Mania has it as a 7.2 out of 10. That's a little low. Atari Legend gave it an 8 out of 10. Atari Crypt, outstanding. He was actually referring to Revenge of Doe, but I'm going to say that he thinks this is outstanding too. He can come in and tell us if he thinks this is not. Moby Users, a 4.1 out of 5. The Classic Magazine, CVG at the time, gave it a 100 out of 100. ST Log, Classic Magazine from the time, gave it a B+ and a buy it. And us here at the Vertical Blank give it a 9 out of 10. Here I am on my Atari ST-E, and I just showed you the physical disc I have that doesn't actually work. So I'm going to have to load up a Peter Putnick hard drive version. While it's loading up, I'm going to give a little bit of the story behind why Atari ST Arkanoid mattered to us in 1988. In mid-1988, we had only had our Atari ST for a little over a year, and the shelves of the local mall, software, etc. still had a nice selection of Atari ST software. This would not be the case a year later. In the first year of owning an Atari ST, we had played quite a few nice games and were particularly enthralled with the SSI role-playing games. There were not too many newer arcade conversions out yet, mostly the Atari Blue Box series of older Atari arcade games. They were really nice and colorful conversions, but they didn't really spark that much interest in us. Okay, here comes the Peter Putnick version. I'll continue with the story in the middle of the gameplay. There are some boring parts because I play a couple of these levels for way too long. We particularly loved these color graphics and the great sounds and music. The Atari ST to us was a wonder machine compared to any 8-bit system we had played. Combined with the color monitor, it was one of the most crisp, colorful, awesome displays of the time. The USA released arcade game we found that really caught our attention was this game, Arkanoid. I was and am still terrible at the game, as you can see. It blew me away though. Having been a breakout fan and having never played the arcade game, this game looked and played like a dream arcade game on the 520 ST. I still have the original disc as I showed, but it won't boot into the ST anymore and work correctly. I'm not sure why. I prefer the Peter Putnick hard drive conversions anyway because, as you can see, I get unlimited ships and it plays really well off a hard drive. And it will work with almost any TOS version. This version of Arkanoid was created by a sole individual, Peter Johnson, who would go on to create all of the Arkanoid conversions for the ST, as well as RoboCop, Whizball, and other ST classics, pretty much doing every aspect of each game like a 3.5-inch disc game development renaissance man. In any case, this version of Arkanoid for the Atari ST mattered to us in the vertical blank because in 1988 it showed just how far computer gaming technology had come. It was a hint at what was possible with the Atari ST and imported games from Europe that we would start receiving just a few months later. And by receiving, I mean purchasing. We did not pirate any games from Europe. We purchased them at a local store, sort of local, about 40 miles away in Orange County, California, that imported Atari ST, Amiga, and Neo Geo games. So I'm going to let this game play on for a little bit. I get through 3 levels, and it does take quite a number of my ships that I get unlimited versions, unlimited amounts of. And I would use this Peter Putnick version even if you're playing an emulation. It's a great way to play this game and see all the levels, especially if you're terrible at this game like I am. A bit of a frustrating mouse experience here.
That's really fast.
As you can see, I'm finally getting a little bit more traction in this game. I almost get this level done because of having so many ships because of the Peter Pucknick version, and this really fast bouncy ball that I have. But this is just an incredible arcade conversion. I hope you've watched all of this. If you haven't played this game, you can play it in emulation. You can play it pretty much anywhere. But it's a great arcade game for the Atari ST. Okay, we'll have many more games in all of our series coming up. This is the original disc again that we purchased in 1988. It only works on my Atari ST-FM, actually not in the Atari STE. Until next time, into the vertical blank.
Next frame calculated. Prepare to write new data. V blank ending.
An 8-bit Rocket Studios production.